Ta-da! The engine is on. Hey guys, welcome back to my Sling TSI build log. It's been a while since my last update, so I've been working on, as you can see, the engine is on, and I've been working on the brake system and trying to connect all the wires and hoses on the engine. So let me walk you through the different components that I've been working on in the last couple of weeks. I don't know if you can see on the video on the windshield. So I've already glued the windows to the canopy a while ago, but if you can see here, I actually spent some time a couple of weeks ago with my wife to paint a additional line of black paint on top of the glued area. So I think I've seen from some builders comments on Facebook and on their own video blogs that they opted to paint a line here to cover the glue of the Sika 295 in specific. At first, I thought that's more for aesthetics, and I wanted to do that as well. But I think at some point somebody mentioned that the Sika 295 is resistant to UV, but the primers that I had to put on before Sika is not resistant to UV. So that makes this line of paint actually not optional, in my opinion. So I painted this line to be the outermost layer. If you basically take a sectional here, there is the paint, then the glass, then that's the primer, then the glue, right? So this layer of paint essentially protects the glass and more importantly protects the primer that's responsible for holding the glues and everything else together. So the paint process was pretty long, but it was very straightforward. You just basically mask everything as as protective as possible, then sort of lightly sand the area, then just spray paint. Let me see if I can find what paint I used. Maybe not. I'll show a picture later. But yeah, so that's the painting process for the window. Okay, so another component I worked on is the braking system. So I finally got around to purchase the hydraulic fluid and bled the system. So unlike how usually automotive industry does it from the front, from the reservoir, I think most people on Sling bleeds their brake system backwards through the bleed sort of relief valve, and I pumped the brake fluid from here backwards, upwards, all the way to the reservoir. So here's everything I used to bleed the system. So this plastic tube is just the brake line that came from the Sling kit. So then I bought a 90-degree sort of this adapter, then also bought this from Lowe's, and then connects to a clear tube with a slightly larger diameter, then goes further up, connects to basically this plastic tube. So this tube also came with Sling kit. I think this is probably the protective tube that's supposed to go go around the bleed lines. So anyways, so then on the other end, I bought this oiler from Amazon for like $9. Then basically what I do is connect this end to the bleeding nipple, then just basically start pumping fluid. I had to stop once in a while to just confirm there's still enough fluid in the bottle here. So retrospectively, if I had to do this again, I think I would just get a clear bottle, so I know exactly how much fluid I have left on in the bottle. So anyways, once this thing's connected, I've pretty much just followed exactly what everybody else did. So I first locked the parking brake, then start pumping until the other end, the bleeding valve starts to drip. So that means the tube between the two main wheels are properly flushed. So I did this back and forth a few times. Then then I had to close the bleeding valve from the other side and open the parking valve in the cockpit. And then when I continue to pump, the fluid actually starts to go to the front, and eventually they will show up in the reservoir here. So that's the general steps. I had to do this repeat like 5 or 7 times until all the air got pushed out from the reservoir. And one thing I did was I kind of, as I was bleeding it, I lowered the nose all the way to the ground. So this big chunk of things are tilted upwards. I think that really helped getting the air out of the throttle quadrant area. Mounting the engine, that was actually not as big of a deal as I thought. So I bought this 1-ton engine lift from Harbor Freight, and kind of just used that to lift the engine off the shipping crate and sort of lined up with the 4 holes on the engine mount, and then that really just went in very smoothly. 2 things to call out. So as most people building Sling already know, there is on the lower right area, right on the turbocharger bracket, they have Rotax comes with a AN6 nut riveted onto this bracket. So basically, if this bolt mounting the lower right bolt, if this were an AN6 bolt, then there's no modification needed. But Sling wants us to use the M10 bolt instead of the AN6, so I had to get rid of the AN6 nut and replace it with an M10 nut. The easiest time to do it is when the engine was suspended on the engine lift, but then sort of, there's a very specific angle I can get my drill in between this mounting structure and reach the rivet and drill it out. Now, once the rivet is off, the nut just falls out very easily. So I think that was not difficult. It's just as long as you have the right timing to do it, it's fine. Another thing is a lot of people are not happy about the nut provided by Sling, because Sling had 4 nylon lock nuts for mounting these engine bolts. I think on the top half, nylon is fine, but on the lower half, they are very close to exhaust and to turbo. you're really not supposed to use nylon there. So I sourced my own all metal lock nuts and replaced the lower ones. As you can see here, these are metal version instead of the nylon version. So I think I got them from either from Pegasus or from Sami Racing. So other than that, mounting the engine was really just like at most 2-hour work. Routing the harness, I'm not fully complete on this part yet, but routing the harness, yeah, that's actually more difficult than mounting the engine itself. So the big ones are fuse box and the ECU, which is behind the firewall area. And the harness is already pre-made and connected to the engine, and I just need to connect the other end. The way the engine, the ECU is mounted on sling is actually upside down and right under the dash right here. So it's not very easy to reach and connect the harness, and also mount it back to the rack. So it really took me a lot of time to do that, and I was like basically twisting in all different positions, crawling under the cockpit, but finally was able to connect them and torque them to the right value for the mounting bolts and nuts. And one other thing is there's a upper limit of how many times you can plug and unplug the 3 connectors behind the ECU. So yeah, I think the instruction says you can do this up to 20 times. So I already used once, so that actually needs to be logged on the logbook. So yeah, other than that, I think that's the big components and I worked on in the last couple of weeks. So next coming up, I think I will continue to do my wiring, connecting the ECUs and the whole fuse boxes and all the sensors on the firewall forward section. And I will probably do a power on test, then also start work on the fuel hoses and the oil lines after that. So yeah, with that, thanks for watching.